we go to Peter Gay Combs for the stories making the news this week. Peter Gay.
Hi, Edgerenka. Now, the weekend of fun and festivities on Virgin Gorda may be done and we're all back to work. However, some violence marred the weekend with the murder of 41-year-old Jefferson Joseph on Sunday morning. Now, according to the police, at about 4 a.m., Jefferson and a female companion was leaving a nightclub in the vicinity of the CSY dock when he got into his car, which was shut up. He died on the scene and his female companion was treated at hospital and released. The police further state that apparently his vehicle had to be lifted from across a road barrier by a crane service because that's how it ended up at the end of the incident. One man who has not been named was detained by the police this morning for questioning and he has since been released. Joseph recently was released from prison after serving time for gun and drug charges and was also awaiting another case in which he is accused of being involved in the murder of Cornell Melbourne Francis in 2013, and he's accused of soliciting another person to kill Francis to the tune of some $13,000. And so that was the big story on Sunday, Edgerenka. But then today, the big story coming out of the House of Assemblies pertaining to the new work permit fees that will take effect on May 15. Minister of Labour, Dr. Kedrick Pickering, made the announcement in the House of Assembly today where he stated that the new charges are progressive and income-based, and as he listed out what will be applied to the annual income of the various categories of work permit applicants, he also stated that in addition to that $75 charge that will be requested for your card, a new fee of $50 will be charged for the application itself, and there will also be a cap of some $10,000 on the fees that will be charged of work permit applicants. In addition to that, the minister also revealed that the processing of the work permit applications is being sped up, with renewals expected to be completed within 2 weeks and new work permits within a month. Here he is, Edgerenka.
Under the new fee structure, Madam Speaker, special consideration has been made for domestic workers. They will pay 1% of their annual salary. For all other workers, the fee for earnings up to $25,000 per annum will be charged at 3%. The fee for earnings from $25,001 to $50,000 will be calculated at 5%. And the fee for earnings above $50,001 will be calculated at 7%. Earnings in excess of $150,000 will also be charged at 7%. There will be a fee cap at $10,000, which means that no work permit will cost in excess of $10,000. The new fee structure also introduces a $50 application fee, in addition to the $75 fee that is currently charged for the issuance of the work permit card. To help facilitate this process, Madam Speaker, the Labour Department is introducing a new single-page work permit renewal form, which replaces the first and second schedule application that was in use since the Labour Ordinance of 1975. Madam Speaker, the Department will be moving to process new work permits within 4 weeks, and this will require us to streamline processing with the Department of Immigration. These changes fall within the remit of the BVI Forward campaign under the Initiative to Reform Immigration and Labor.
And come May 15, more monies will have to be forked out for work permit applications here in the BVI.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting, the increase in work permit fees. Many countries in the world who have a similar structure, well, in the region particularly, you have a similar structure, have had their work permit fees at a much higher rate than ours in the Virgin Islands. So I guess we are becoming more up-to-date, upgraded, and competitive with other members in the region. And I'm glad it's progressive that who could pay more will pay more, because I know domestic workers making minimum wage and so on, it's difficult for them to pay the extra $300 and or whatever it is that they pay for work permits. And I'm also happy to hear that the process is going to be speeded up, because sometimes the frustration and the anxiety caused around getting a work permit is really unnecessary, and so that's good. Regarding the Jefferson Joseph incident, of course it's sad, and everyone expresses, I'm sure, is sympathetic to the families or the family for their loss, but. Drug deals and drug relationships, we always hear that kind of behavior connected with those things. There's always some murder, some sort of injury or hostility or death involved in drug trafficking. What disturbs me, Peter Gay, is that we don't seem to be able to, in a small country like the Virgin Islands, we don't seem to be able to get a handle on who the drug dealers are. And I can't imagine why that is, because a lot of people in the community know who are dealing drugs. That's one. And two, if they don't know, and if they don't cooperate with the police, I mean, we watch television, we see sting operations, we see crime shows, we see how other jurisdictions, other places in the world find out about criminal activity and criminal behavior and squash it. I don't understand why it is in a small country like the Virgin Islands, we can't eradicate drug trafficking altogether. I really don't see why.
True, very valid point considering the population of the BVI Edo-NCA, but what we must say, well, we're not sure about the details as it pertains to this particular case. We don't know what the undercurrents are, but at the same time, we have to bear in mind that while it is that the police need to do their job in terms of finding out what's at the heart of all of these crimes, especially the gun-related crimes, already 4 months into the year and 4 murders, I mean, that is not the kind of BVI that we want to be living in. But at the same time, we have to bear in mind that a lot of these persons are fearful for the safety of themselves and their families. And two, the reality is that they don't trust the police because they're not sure who the good guys always are.
Well, that's another thing, that the police need to establish a reputation of trust in the community where people feel safe with cooperating with them. So, I think there's a lot to be said and done for the gun-related crimes, particularly those crimes that are drug-related. And as a community, we need to really come together and do something about it. And something can be done. The place is not big enough for people to be killing people randomly and no one knows about it.
True. And to his credit, the Commissioner of Police in recent times has stated that in terms of community policing, making that connection with residents on the ground so that the trust can be restored is one of his priorities going forward. And that started earlier this year, at the start of the year actually, with that community meeting at the Stickett, with more to come based on what he said.
What else you have, Peter?
All right, so to wrap up the top news segment for today, remember last week we spoke about this litany of questions that the opposition leader was supposed to pepper the premier with, as well as the communications and works minister. Well, that didn't happen today. Essentially, the premier moved a motion for those questions to come at the end of the sitting, and that didn't take place because with the debate of this Environment Protection and Tourism Improvement Fund, which involves a new environmental tax, they went into the third reading via committee, and that took up the rest of the day. So essentially, that did not take place. So we're still waiting to see what happens going forward. But what did take place was that the Premier did table the 2 Auditor General reports for the financial years 2010 and 2011. However, the opposition leader, as well as the 3rd District Representative, Julian Fraser Sott, tried to get from the Premier where are the accompanying reports, such as that from the Accountant General for the same years and the Financial Secretary report? According to Mr. Fraser, and with Mr. Foy agreeing, those reports should accompany the Auditor General reports because they will supplement whatever information is there. However, the Premier said he isn't aware of those reports. What he has is what he's presented, and he would expect that the information from those two reports would have been included in the 2010 and 2011 reports. Also, in the top news segment today is a new initiative which the Education Ministry plans to introduce by the end of this month. As a matter of fact, it will be launched next week. This is a new online learning portal for students at the primary and secondary level, students who are in the traditional school system, alternative school system, and adults who are participating in continuing education involving inmates. So essentially, this online learning hub will involve tutorials, tests, a variety of learning material and assistance, and it will be done in conjunction with Digicel and the Jamaican-based Go GSAT Limited, and it is supposed to facilitate some 4,100 users. And while the government will bear the majority of the costs, parents who have students who will be participating in the system will be asked to pay a small fee of $5 per month.
Well, that's certainly good news, and I would like technology to be involved in teaching and learning, so we can certainly wait to see how that plays out. I've had some experience with technology in the classrooms and learning and teaching methods revolving around technology, and it's really a good thing. The children get involved, they're interested in it, and once you get their interest and they like the computers and they like the laptops and the iPads, and once you get them interested in it, they're likely to learn other parts of the lessons as well. So we're looking forward to good things to come from that.
And this one, the beauty about this new learning platform is that the persons who will be participating can take it wherever they go. So they can access it at home, at school, at work, wherever. And of course, you can get more information on these stories and others from the JTV Newsroom via our YouTube channel, Facebook page, and our website, jtvlive.net.
Peter Gay, thank you very much for those stories, interesting stuff going on. We're looking forward to hear what's going to come out of the House of Assembly. Perhaps they're going to have an extended session tomorrow or some other time during the week to get those questions and answers in. So we're looking forward to that. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.